Over the last 30 days, I went from 229 pounds to 214 pounds. So I lost about 15 pounds in 1 month. I didn't do anything crazy, no extreme diets, no ridiculous amount of cardio. And in this video, I'm about to show you exactly what I did. My calories, my macros, the supplements I use, and the training approach that I took to help me lose the weight. First thing I want to explain, because most people misunderstand this part, is that when I say 15 pounds, doesn't mean that it's all fat. So whenever you're doing a rapid weight loss, most of that is not going to be body fat. There's a lot of glycogen that's in there. There's a lot of water retention that's in there. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Don't get me wrong, some of that is still body fat. The goal during this cut was to not just lose the weight, but to keep as much muscle as possible. The biggest thing that allowed me to do this was the structure that I had in place. So I didn't just guess my calories. I had a specific plan for my training days and my non-training days. So on my training days, I was eating about 2,800 calories, and on my non-training days, about 2,500 calories. The main reason for that is because you want the extra carbs for performance, and when you're not at the gym working out, you don't really need the extra carbs. So it makes sense to just kind of pull back on those. As far as the macros goes, for my training days, we had 266 grams of protein, 278 grams of carbs, and 61 grams of fat. On my off days, we had 262 grams of protein, 195 grams of carbs, and 62 grams of fat. So the main thing that really changed was just the carbs between the days. So the protein was kept high because that's what my body needs at this point. And doing the bodybuilding thing for a while, my protein has always just been high. If you care about muscle, you want your protein to be on the higher end. The carbs were on the higher side on my training days so I can perform better, can recover better. Fats were on the moderate side, just more for hormonal support, making sure that I'm feeling okay, that my hormones aren't getting out of whack during this. Let me show you exactly what I was eating. This is where people struggle because consistency with the food is the main driver for the fat loss. So this is what all my meals were like. So on my training days, I was eating 5 meals a day, making sure that I had at least one pre-workout meal every single time I worked out. Every other meal you can kind of like switch around. So on my training days, meal 1 was 2 scoops of whey protein, 3.5 ounces of blueberries, and 60 grams of cream of rice for a total of 480 calories. We got about 50 grams of protein in there, 65 grams of carbs, and about 2 grams of fat. The thought process behind meal number 1 is get something that your body will just absorb right away as your first meal of the day. I personally try to get to about 3 meals before I get to the gym. I can't do that every single day, but at least I try to. So having foods that absorb quick will help you do that. When you're cutting down on the calories, you have to be a little bit more strategic with how you put your foods throughout the day. The main goal should be performance. How can you best allocate energy for that workout? And this is just one way to do that. Meal number 2 was 6.5 ounces of ground beef, 93% lean, or some flank steak or some salmon. Then we added 5 ounces of jasmine rice to that, and about like 2 to 3 ounces of veggies. Any veggies you want really works. A little bit more nutrients in there from the steak. I personally am a big believer in having some sort of beef into your diet at least once a day, but just make sure that's from a lean source. On to meal number 3. This is the pre-workout meal, and you can change this based on your schedule. So what I did was, like, if I had a really early day, I would make sure to have at least that pre-workout meal before I got into the gym. Other days where I am able to eat 1, 2, or 3 more meals, then I'll do that. So meal number 3 was 2 scoops of whey protein, 24 grams of almond butter, and 100 grams of cream of rice. That brings us into a total of 736 calories with 50 grams of protein, 88 grams of carbs, and 15 grams of fat. The same principle with the first meal. The cream of rice is just so easily absorbable that I can have it pre-workout. And once you start getting hungry, once you start getting leaner and dropping the weight, you'll notice that your body just absorbs food even better. So that's the thought process behind that. Meal number 4 was the post-workout meal. So this is immediately after you work out. We had 6 ounces of chicken breast, 9 ounces of jasmine rice, and 3.5 ounces of pineapple, bringing a total of 664 calories, 53 grams of protein, 84 grams of carbs, and about 7 grams of fat. Whole foods, personally, I think are your best bet when it comes to post-workout, because if you're relying on a protein shake, it can be convenient. It could be efficient if you don't have time or you don't have like the things to carry with you if you're not home. You know, you will get more full if you're eating food as opposed to a protein shake. So that's why there's a whole meal post-workout. And the last meal of the day is meal number 5, which was 10 ounces of egg whites, 2 eggs, and 22 grams of chia seeds. That brings us to a total of 440 calories, 48 grams of protein, 3 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of fat. For the last meal, there is no carbs. Most of my fats are in that one meal. One of the reasons why personally I started this cut was to kind of improve my digestion. And I went through a really hard bulk where I was trying to gain a lot of muscle, and it just kind of wrecked my stomach. So the reason why there's so many egg whites in there is mostly because egg whites are really easy to digest. You don't want to go to bed with a heavy meal. Sometimes that might affect the way you sleep. The better sleep you get, the better you recover. And that was for the training day. For the rest days, very similar approach, just no pre-workout or post-workout meal. First meal of the day was 14 ounces of egg whites, 52 grams of cream of rice, and 3.5 ounces of blueberries. So that puts us at 463 calories, 47 grams of protein, 54 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of fat. Main idea here is to kind of give your body a break from the whey protein that we've been having during the training days and have actual whole foods. Egg whites are really easily digestible. The cream of rice is too. And the blueberries is more for like the nutrients, the antioxidants, the fiber. So you always want to have fruit in your diet to a certain degree, depending on your macros, how low you're cutting, always have nutrients. Meal number 2 was ground beef. So the same 93% or flank steak or salmon at 6.5 ounces, plus 5 ounces of jasmine rice and about 2 to 3 ounces of mixed veggies. Same thing, any veggies you want. Next up was meal number 3, 3 ounces of jasmine rice. We had 4.5 ounces of sweet potato, 6 ounces of chicken breast, and 4 ounces of pineapple. So that puts us at 562 calories, 58 grams of protein, 59 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of fat. The reason for mixing the jasmine rice and the sweet potato, whenever you're doing a diet and you're eating the same exact things over and over, it's always good to have some sort of variety, even if it's to this small degree. Literally just adding 4 ounces of sweet potato to one of your meals on a different day makes a big difference with your gut microbiome and just gut health in general. Whenever you stop eating certain things over time, if you do it for a really long time, your body kind of stops producing the enzymes to digest that food. So it's always good to just keep a little bit of it. If you're limited by your macros, something like this can help you out in the future. So that's kind of the approach for meal number 3. So meal number 4 was 6 ounces of chicken breast, 5 ounces of jasmine rice, and 12 grams of avocado or olive oil. That put us at 570 calories, 56 grams of protein, 40 grams of carbs, and 18 grams of fat. Now for meal number 5 was the last meal of the day. We had 10 ounces of egg whites, 2 eggs, and 22 grams of chia seeds. Very similar to the other day, just very minor changes. Now when it comes to the cardio and how active I was, this is very important. I didn't kill myself with the cardio. We kept it at 4 times a week, 25 minutes. One of those sessions was a HIIT session. I did it on the Stairmaster and the bike because I have a bike right behind me at home, made it easier. So for the first 4 minutes, you start at a normal kind of like moderate level. Make sure that your heart rate starts going to like 100 to like 110, kind of like get yourself warmed up. So past that 4-minute mark, you start going 15 seconds all out, and then 45 seconds at a very moderate to like lower pace. And then you just repeat that back and forth until you get to the 20 minutes. And then the last 5 minutes, you can go at a moderate speed, but just make sure that your heart rate is above 140 beats per minute. That's all for the 25 minutes. So I did that once a week. And when it comes to rest days and the rest of the days of the week, I made sure to get between 8 to like 12,000 steps every single day. When it comes to the training, one of the biggest things that had to change was my training approach. So I focused on doing more exercises, doing less volume, and to make sure that I didn't take anything to failure. So instead of destroying myself at the gym with volume, I focused on getting quality reps, quality sets, and making sure that I'm managing my recovery. The main thing I had to focus on was do not get injured and making sure I'm getting better from the inside out. So I had to lower inflammation, and therefore my training approach had to change. Something that improved a lot was my digestion, which was the main goal. Your digestion affects your energy, your training, and even how much body fat you're losing. Make sure that you're addressing that and kind of keeping that in mind if you are doing a cut phase yourself. So make sure that you're getting quality foods, that you are spacing your meals, that you are keeping your stress levels on the lower side. Now, when it comes to these supplements, there's a few that I took. I think they're super important. I don't think you get everything from your diet, and especially if you're training hard or you're going into a cutting phase, supplements become a lot more important. If I want to look a certain way, I have to perform a certain way. So that's kind of my thinking when it comes to the supplements. As soon as I wake up, 10 grams of glutamine, 1200 milligrams of NAC, and 10 grams of creatine. I go about my day, make food. After my first meal, I start with my fish oil. Make sure that it's between like 2 to 3 grams of combined EPA and DHA ratio of about 2 to 3 grams. Anything less than that, honestly, you're wasting your money. Then my vitamin D and K2, and along with vitamin E. Then towards the end of the day with my last meal, 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate and 30 to 50 milligrams of zinc glycinate. Something that I also took was peptides. I'm a big fan of peptides. I feel like I haven't mentioned it in this channel, but I actually work with a company, Straight Labs. They sponsor me. So that's where I get my stuff. I trust them. I've seen the back end of their systems and everything, and I think they're very professional with what they do. One of the few companies that are actually testing their products on a constant basis. It's up to you if you want to try it. Personally, I'm a big fan. I've seen massive benefits from it for healing, for lowering inflammation, to just your skin looking better. So personally, the ones that I take is a blend of TB500, BPC 157, KPV, and something called GHK copper. BPC and TB500 are mostly for muscular healing. So things like, whenever you get sore, or if you have like a small ache and pain around your joints, that's what I take that for. The KPV is mostly for internal health, meaning if you have like gut issues, or like if you have like IBS, just stomach issues that affect your digestion. Really, really good for controlling those symptoms and just helping you absorb the food better. GHK copper is more so your skin looks better, you don't look as crusty. It's something that now that I'm 30, I'm starting to think a little bit more about. So I have seen some big differences with my face in particular, because the blend is so easy to take. You don't have to take each one independently. You just do this one shot a day and then you're on your way. By the way, if you need to get any peptides, I do have a discount code. It helps me, helps the channel. I will put the link like right here. Not allowed to put links in the bio. I don't want to get taken down by YouTube. I feel like they're cracking down on a lot of those things. If this gives me issues, then I will blur it out and I'll put it in my Instagram bio. I do have a discount code to save you some money, so get your peptides. And that's pretty much everything I did for this cut. If you've made it this far, I kind of want to leave you with some tips. So these are 3 things that I think most people are struggling with, and they're just kind of doing this wrong. So first one is cutting your calories too aggressively right off the bat. You always want to start on the higher end of calories, see how your body reacts, and then kind of progressively lower food from there. So if you are short on time, that's a different story. But if you're doing this in a healthy way, if you're trying to get healthier, not just look a certain way, start with the highest amount of calories that you're still losing with, and then progressively like calm down over time. Mistake number 2 is people rely way too much on the cardio and not on the diet. They think that I will get faster results just because I'm doing more cardio. There's a few things that you learn the hard way, coming from experience and from like the clients that I've trained over time. If you start off too strong with the cardio, you're going to burn yourself out. You will cause more inflammation, which will affect the way you're training, which will affect the way you absorb food, the way you digest, your sleep, your recovery, and you're gonna start feeling like crap. So the second that starts happening, other things get affected. So your hormones, like your ghrelin, for example, the hormone responsible for your hunger, you're gonna be starving. The second that happens, that's gonna affect your mental. Now you're in this battle with yourself of like, I'm so hungry, not because the food is low, but it's because you're outputting so much effort with your body. So you're demanding more out of your body. You don't wanna do that early on. You always wanna start low with the cardio and then progressively bring it up as you're going with the cut. And tip number 3 is track everything you can. Track your foods, track your training, track your sleep. The more data you have, the more changes you can make later on. So if you're not keeping track of anything, you're blind when it comes to making decisions, because you don't know what's working, you don't know what's affecting you and what you need to change to make something better. So it's always good to keep track of everything you do, even if it's on the short term, just for this like fat loss or whatever phase you're in. I highly recommend just tracking in general. It's good to have the numbers. If you're trying to lose fat and you want a structured plan around your training, around your diet, is exactly what I do. I help clients do this all the time. So shoot me an email to brianblasiofit@gmail.com and I'll get back to you. And if you enjoyed this video and you want more content like this on bodybuilding, nutrition, training, fat loss strategy, subscribe and I will catch you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace.